Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. As we are coming to you live from the Area Command, we're going to start this program off tonight with the nation's national anthem. I would ask everyone to please rise now.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh, yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We want to thank all of our men and women in the armed forces, wherever they might be, whether they're here in the United States or overseas. We want to thank all our allied military for helping protect their countries and helping us protect the world. May God bless you all. May God protect you and bring you home to your families as soon as your tours of duty end. God bless you all, brothers and sisters. We love you all very much. Now, I want to talk about things that are going on. Okay? As we do every night, I want to talk about things that are going on. Some of you tell me you're watching President Trump in his Long Island, New York rally tonight. Earlier today, the New York City Police found a BOMB right outside the rally headquarters tonight in Long Island. I need to say this. The Communist News Network, you all know what I'm talking about. The Communist News Network said that the car that was found was a hoax. It was a bomb threat. And the Communist News Network said it was a hoax. It was not. A man was arrested with a detonator. A man was arrested with a detonator. Okay? It was not a hoax at all. Okay? I don't give a flying rat's flying keister what the Communist News Network or the mainstream media has to say. It was not a hoax at all. They want to try to put President Trump down. They're full of crap. They're full of crap. Socialism reigns here in the United States. They don't want us to know the truth. They are hiding the truth. Today, there was another organization that came out and said that Camelback was ahead in the polls by 8% or more, and that Trump had no chance to win, that he was down to maybe a 29 or 30% chance of winning. It's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. Tim Gibson is here in the chat. There was a body found in Tennessee. The man had fired with an AK-47 style rifle on passersby on the highway. Today they found his dead body over in Tennessee, badly decomposed. I saw pictures of it. I cannot put those pictures on the air, and I won't. Now, some people say that the body had been there only a few days to a week. That's bullcrap. For the body to be decomposed as much as it was, that body had to have been there for a very, very long time. I'm just saying. I am almost an expert when it comes to homicide investigation. I'm a certified homicide investigator. I've been privy to 7 to 8, I don't remember how many, 7 or 8 stints with the medical examiner in San Diego, California. I went through the training. There was one instance where I was a police officer. We got a call one evening to check on the welfare of an elderly woman. We got to the house. The house looked barren. Okay? Just from a distance, the house looked barren. The drapes and stuff were closed, so you couldn't look inside. I got in my briefcase. I stuck Vicks Vapor Rub up my nose. My partner said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I've been to these things before. I know what it means to go and check on the welfare." That day, there was a woman's body laying on the floor, and it had been there for quite some time. There were maggots on the body. It reeked. No amount of Vicks Vapor Rub stuffed up your nose does anything but delay the onset of the smell. I had to burn my uniform after that day. I could no longer wear it. I know what it is to see a dead body. I know what it is to investigate a murder or a homicide or any kind of other incident like that. It's unreal. It's unreal. Anyway, that's that. Now, I want to also point out something else. Today, Elon Musk posted this on X. He says those granted asylum become citizens within 5 years. We know what is happening with the Biden White House and the Camelback Harris administration. They have let over 20 million illegal aliens into this country. Those that will be granted asylum, the United States Customs Border Protection Office does not even know where these people are. Within 5 years of them having been granted asylum, they become citizens of this United States, which is just over one presidential election cycle. And then those people will be voting overwhelmingly for the Democrats, the Democrat Communists of the United States. This is why so many are being placed in large numbers in Arizona, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and other swing states, including Florida, to create a permanent one-party rule by the Democrat Socialist Communist Party of America. They planned this for a very long time. They've been planning this for probably 20 years. They've been planning it full bore since Obama took office in 2009. They've been planning it. Like I said last night, when I went to vote for Romney in that election against Obama, they had already been messing with the voting machines then. They've been doing it nonstop since then. They are looking like they're not going to release power here in the United States, no matter who gets the numbers, who gets elected. They're not going to let it happen. Now, I am still asking everybody, as of yesterday was voter registration day here in the United States. I'm still asking everybody, get out and vote. Get out and vote. Do whatever it takes to vote your conscience. Do whatever it takes to vote your conscience. We cannot afford to let the Democrats, socialists, or communists gain footholds here in America. We cannot let that happen. We need to do whatever it takes to keep some semblance of normal here in our country. I spent a good majority of the night listening to a YouTube presentation here, and I have a good feeling that President Trump is going to win. The presentation I listened to was from a Christian perspective, quoting from the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha stated that things would be bad, and they are. The Apocrypha described the exact same events, not specifically about voting, but the exact same kind of events that are happening now in our world. Not just here in the United States, but all over the world. But it said, by the end of that year, that things would start to look up in a very positive fashion. And that the person that would be in charge will be doing the right thing for the right reason. Now, I am trying to gain permission to play that on our channel. I don't know how likely it is that I will gain permission to play that on our channel. But if not, I will get the substance of it and I will repeat it here on this channel. Because I believe everybody needs to hear it. Okay? Diane Kelman says they are whooping it up in Long Island, New York at the rally. He might take New York. It looks like he may take Pennsylvania as well. It looks like he will take Arizona.
Location, south
It
of
looks
Java,
like he's
indication
going to
class
take
one,
Nevada.
magnitude 4.2 11 minutes ago.
A mainstream media person was over in Nevada today going into restaurants talking to people. Juby Joe, no, you're not in trouble at all. Juby Joe, we love and appreciate you for who you are and what you've done to help this channel. We love you. Anyway, getting back to what happened in Nevada today. One of the mainstream media outlets was in Nevada going into restaurants questioning them about who they were going to vote for. And it looks primarily that President Trump will take Nevada standing up and sitting down no matter where it is. President Trump will take Nevada. Okay? That's what it looks like. I hope he does. As I stated before, we need you to go out and vote. We need you to help us get out and vote in November. I personally am going to plan on voting at the polls in November. I am not going to trust the voting machines. I am not going to trust the mail-in ballots. There's far too many mail-in ballots that are going to be out there. As we know what happened in 2020 and back in 2016 and way back in 2012, way back in 2009. The Democrat Party came out of nowhere during the night of elections after the polls closed. And they brought in tons more ballots. Where did they get them? Who knows? But they came in after hours and patted the voting box, patting the registrar of voters counting. In the last election in 2020, President Trump was overwhelmingly leading when the polls closed and the registrar of voters shut things down at 9 p.m. Eastern Time that Tuesday evening. Trump was far ahead. By morning, out of nowhere, the numbers were far in excess for Biden. What happened? The Democrat communists brought the ballots into the registrar of voters after hours. This should never have happened. I'm hoping Congress between now and November 5th puts up a bill and it will get passed that no one is allowed to vote after the fact, that no ballots will be counted after November 5th, that no ballots will be counted after November 5th. It's wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. I understand military ballots, that might be a separate instance. But no other ballots should be counted after November 5th at all. Okay? It cannot ever happen again. We cannot allow the Democrat Communist Party to take over this country. Not now, not ever. Pam Miller is in the chat, and she brought up another issue in regards to the election. She said we need IDs to vote. Absolutely we do. Every person who votes needs to have an identification card with their name and picture on it. And they must verify who they are. If they can't be verified, they can't vote. A photo ID. This understanding that the Democrats have of going out to cemeteries, collecting dates of birth and dates of death, and putting the dates of birth on the registration card for voting has got to stop. Georgia, Wisconsin, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Arizona caught millions of fraudulent registrar ballots. It should not ever happen again. Some of these states have gone through their records and taken millions of people off the voting records who have passed away or who no longer live in those jurisdictions. I'm hoping that happens again. And that no one will be allowed to vote, one, without an ID, and two, no one will be allowed to vote who's dead. Okay? It can't be allowed to happen. Not now, not ever. Okay? Period. Anyway, I've got a lot of things to talk about in regards to earthquakes tonight. A lot of things. Now, I want to show you something that I found. The first thing I'm going to show you is a tremor map. I want you to see this. This is a tremor map from yesterday. Notice there are no tremors up here in the northwestern part of Washington State. There are no tremors over here in Oregon. But there are tremors over here in California. Northern California, guys. Guess where they're at? Shasta National Park. Shasta National Park. But guess what, guys? That's not all there is. That is not all there is when it comes to tremors along the coastline of the Pacific Northwest. I have all kinds of data proving it. Okay? First thing I want to do is go over to Carnation, Washington. Look at this. Okay? Now I'm going to enlarge this so you can see it. Look at all these tremors and earthquakes here. Some of these earthquakes are magma caused. You see these blobs of magma all over the seismogram. You see these vertical lines through those magma blobs. Those are tremors. Tremors caused by magma going through magma channels and fracturing rock in the magma channels, causing earth movement. Tremors. But you also see these other earthquakes here. 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes. Two of them. 2.7, 2.8 minor earthquakes caused by magma here. Caused by magma. And you see quite a few other earthquakes caused by magma here in Carnation, Washington. This is a magma channel leading to a volcano. This is a magma channel leading to a volcano here in Carnation, Washington. Okay? Let me show you some more here. Okay? I spent a great deal of today looking at seismograms to show you what I mean here when we have tremors along the coastline. Look at this one here. This is Elma, Washington State. Elma, E-L-M-A, Washington State. Look at the tremors here. You see a lot of tremors, don't you? Some of these are magma related, others are not. We have one minor earthquake here. One minor earthquake here. This earthquake happened after 10:30 last night. Approximately 10:38 p.m. last night. You see what happened here. Again, a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. All the rest of these are tremors here. There's even more than that. Let's look at this at Grays Harbor, Washington. Nothing but tremors here. Yes, there's some other earthquakes here as well. 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes here. But the majority of this is all tremors. This is along the coastline of Washington State. Grays Harbor, Washington. Okay? The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network decides that they want us to see only what they want us to see. They have no clue. Up around that area of northwest Washington, over near the border of Canada, Vancouver, Canada, and Vancouver Island, in that area. This is Guaymas Island, Washington. Guaymas Island, Washington. This seismogram starts off at 5 p.m. yesterday afternoon over on the left-hand side. There's only a handful of tiny tremors here. However, let me enlarge the seismogram to show you what we have here. Okay? This morning, look at this. We have tremors and we also have earthquakes. And none of these earthquakes and or tremors are on the USGS map. None of these earthquakes and tremors are on the USGS map. These earthquakes are 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes, except for that one in blue here. That one here in blue is after 11:36 a.m. this morning. That's like a 2.7 magnitude earthquake. These are not magma related. These tremors and earthquakes are not magma related at all. These are seismic signals here. These are earthquake signals. Okay? The United States Geological Survey is not showing any of this activity on the map. It's not just that. I want to go over to Loomy Island now. Look at this. I'm going to reduce this seismogram to a size where you can see the whole thing. Look what we're seeing here. These are mostly tremors. These are mostly tremors. This is far north, coming off the Pacific coast into Washington State. These are tremors, guys. The only one that has anything to do with volcanism happened after 8:15 this morning on that red line. Those are minor earthquakes affiliated with magma coming into the Washington State area from the Pacific Ocean. All the rest of this activity here are tremors caused by the Cascadia subduction zone. The Cascadia subduction zone. Okay? I thought you ought to see this because nobody else is talking about it. Nobody else is talking about it. I want to take you over Olga Island. Olga Orcas Island here. Look at this. These are also tremor and earthquake related. Okay? Has nothing to do with magma or volcanism at all. You see tremors here, but you're also seeing a 2.9 earthquake here. A 2.9 earthquake here. Okay? This earthquake happened after 9:15 this morning. Okay? It happened at 9:21 a.m. this morning. This is a 3.0 earthquake. Why is USGS not showing this earthquake? Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Why are they not showing these tremors on the tremor map? Yes, the tremor map I showed you, I took my time gathering the information so I could show you the present day tremor map. They're the ones that decided not to show it to you. Okay? Let me show you another seismogram. This time I'm going to Midway, Washington State, northwestern Washington. Look here. This seismogram starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time on the top left-hand corner. You're seeing tremors here. In this particular case, we have magma coming into a magma chamber here. A magma channel headed for a volcano here. Up at the top here, after 7:15 p.m. This is closer to 7:20 p.m. We're seeing some minor earthquakes here. And over here, after 8 p.m., we're seeing a lot of tremors caused by magma coming through this area. 2 hours worth of tremors. 2 hours worth of tremors caused by magma here in Midway, Washington. Why is this not on the map? Why is this not on the tremor map? Inquiring minds want to know. Let's go over to the coastline of Pacific County, Washington. This information has nothing to do with magma at all. This is not related to volcanism. These are also tremors along the coastline of Washington State. Why is this not on the map? Pacific County, Washington. Why is this not on the map? I want to show you Orcas Island Airport. Also up in the upper part of northwest Washington. Look at this. None of this is magma. These are all earthquakes. These are all earthquakes in the upper northwest part of Washington State. Orcas Island Airport is where this seismograph is located. Look at the top of this. The black line here is 5 p.m. Pacific time over on the left-hand corner. This top black line is after 5 p.m. 5:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time yesterday. Pacific Daylight Time yesterday. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. After 6 p.m. 6:11 p.m. yesterday. Another 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. The next one is about a 2.2 earthquake that happened after 9:21, 9:22 p.m. last night. 2.2 minor earthquake. Then we go down to the bottom of this seismograph. After 7 a.m. this morning, look at the earthquakes and tremors then. Look at this. Why is this not on the seismograph? It should be. It should be. All these tremors happened today. Earthquakes at the top happened last night. They should be on the map, but they're not. I'm not done. Let's go over to Radar Ridge, Nassau, Washington. Look at this, guys. These are tremors. These are tremors. Look at these individual lines here. Again, each individual line here is 15 minutes long, representing 15 minutes of time. These are tremors. Tremors. 1.2, 1.3 tremors, and they're constant. They're constant. There's one differentiation here, and that was this morning, where you see this very wide red line here, and then you see a wide black line. Okay? I think that is trash. I think that is trash. Because all the other lines here are in line where they should be. I think a seismologist moved the machine. But we're still seeing tremors and minor earthquakes here. Nassau, Washington. And yet, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network refuses to show the actuality of what is going on in the Pacific Northwest. Refuses. Absolutely refuses, guys. Absolutely refuses. Now I want to briefly step away from the Pacific Coast. I want to go over to Hanford, Washington. Hanford, Washington. This is the Nike missile silo at the Hanford Reservation. This is the Nike missile silo at the Hanford Reservation. This is a nuclear waste pile. This is where nuclear waste is taken and buried up inside a mountain over in Washington State. Look at what's happening. Look at what is happening here. This is magma. This is magma down beneath these mountains over in Hanford, Washington. What is stored in these mountains? I just got through telling you, nuclear fissionable material. And it's leaking. That nuclear fissionable material is leaking into the ground. And we have magma out here. We have magma flowing through this area, taking some of this radioactive material in the ground and pulling it east. Pulling it east. NCWQ Becky is asking down here at the bottom of the chat right now, again? Yes, again. I first started talking about this about 4 years ago. Actually, it was at least 4 years ago. I have proof of it. I have proof of it. And at that time, it is worse than we're showing you right now. It was a lot worse than we're showing you now. But again, this is Hanford, Washington. I'm going to show you several seismograms from Hanford. The next one I'm taking you to is Hanford H2O plant. An H2O plant at Hanford. Look at this. Yes, we are seeing some magma here. But look at the earthquakes. Why are we not being told that there's earthquakes here at Hanford? This morning, 7:20 a.m. this morning, a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. This is not on the USGS map either. Becky's saying here, yes, I knew it had a bad leak, but I thought they fixed it. Shame on them for not fixing it right. No, they have not fixed it. And they can't go inside the mountain to reclaim the fissional material that is leaked into the ground. They can't do that. There is a river that runs by the Hanford plant. The river is contaminated. The river is contaminated, guys. Back when I first saw this information 4 years ago, I notified the state senators and congressmen from Washington State. They wouldn't talk to me. They hung up their phones. I spoke with mayors and city councilmen all over this area. They also would not talk to me at all. I talked to federal government officials, including state or U.S. Senator Mike Lee. I talked to Mike Lee. He said that he would look into it. He told me he would look into it, and I've not heard anything back from him. A U.S. Senator. I called a U.S. Senator from Washington State as well. He wouldn't talk to me. None of his aides would talk to me either. I mentioned this to Mitt Romney. He said when he would get to Washington, he would look into it. I've not heard back from him either. This is still ongoing 4 years later. Hanford, Washington is still having issues. There is radioactivity material decaying inside the mountains of this nuclear waste facility. There is still magma going through the magma channels underneath the Hanford plant. I wanted to make sure you guys saw this. It's not going away. It is not going away anytime soon. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It is there. I've been watching a long time. One more seismogram here at Hanford. This is Snively Ranch, Hanford, Washington. Look at the magma. Look on these tremors here. My buddy Don Patoka over here in Salt Lake City says, it's classified, Ron, LOL. Yes, it is. But you would have thought that something would have been done. You would have thought something would have been done. Here in Snively, Washington, Hanford, down here at the bottom, you see an earthquake after approximately 1:21 p.m. this afternoon. A 2.8 earthquake. And prior to that, a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake caused by magma in this area. You see a lot of tremors here. You see a lot of tremors caused by magma here. I want to show you this because it's awesome. Number one. Number two, it's deadly. It's still ongoing. Things are not going to change here at all. Not going to change. One more over at Red Mountain, Hanford, Washington. These are all earthquakes over at Red Mountain. Look at what's happening here. Why are these tremors and earthquakes not on the USGS map? And why are these tremors not being shown on the PNSN tremor map? They're there. They're there. Why are they not on the map? It's all over, guys. It's all over. The United States Geological Survey and any other U.S. agency is not taking responsibility for anything. Number one. Number two, when it comes to earthquakes, the United States Geological Survey is not going to talk to us. They're not going to own up to anything going on. Let's go over to Mount Baker. Let's take this down and go over to Mount Baker. Incredible. Incredible. Actually, before that, before we go over to Mount Baker, let's go over to Kilauea. Sunday night, late Sunday night after 10 p.m., there was an eruption out in the East Rib Zone just outside of the Kilauea crater, High Mau crater. 3 fissures opened up. 3 small fissures opened up. I've done a lot of research here. Monday morning, 10:30 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. A USGS helicopter flight, an overflight over this area was made. Geologists observed freshly erupted lava west of Napau NAPAU crater on the remote Middle East Rift Zone of Kilauea, within the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. This area is now surrounded by dead trees and vegetation. Why dead trees and vegetation? Because the sulfur dioxide gas and carbon dioxide gas has killed the trees, as well as the hot eruptive lava has killed the trees. The brief eruption took place on the Middle East Rift Zone of Kilauea, and it lasted about an hour during heavy rain. Heavy rain obscured the webcam views that evening. The largest of the two lava pads is only about 200 yards long. 200 yards long. Let me show you this information here. Right here. 200 meters long. Napau crater is off to the right here. Napau crater is off to the right. Well, there's one more here. Just to give you a better idea where this is all located. The Kilauea volcano Halemaumau crater is off to the upper left-hand side of this photograph. Okay? But this will give you a good idea of where the eruption happened. Okay? Let me enlarge this photograph so you can see it. Let me enlarge this so you can see it. See this area here? It says September 15th, eruptive fissure here. That's where it happened. That's where it happened. Now, this reference map depicts the fissure and the lava flows from Kilauea Middle East Rift Zone eruption Sunday night, September 15th, 2024. The eruption occurred between approximately 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Sunday night in a remote enclosed area of the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. This map was constructed from data collected during the Hawaii Volcano Observatory overflight on Monday morning. Geologists observed two lava pads covering 16,500 square meters. 16,500 square meters, 4 acres, 4 hectares for those of you in Europe. This area erupted from 480 meters, 1,600 foot long fissure, which was eruptively inactive but still emitting volcanic gases at the time of the overflight at 10 a.m. Monday morning. Okay? This did not happen in the Kilauea crater. This is out in the East Rift Zone, just south and east of Kilauea crater. Kilauea volcano, I should say, Halemaumau crater. Does anybody have any questions about this? I wanted to make sure you saw this so you could understand what's going on. The earthquakes are still hitting this area. Earthquakes are still hitting hard in this area. Let's go over to the USGS map here. I want to show you what is going on in Hawaii. Let's zoom in here on Hawaii here. This area is still fresh. Okay? Look at the earthquake still hitting this area. Earthquakes all over. Over here near Kilauea volcano, High Mau crater. To the north, this is a 2.0 earthquake. Right next to it is another 1.8 tremor. This is on the northern rim of Kilauea volcano, High Mau crater. Down underneath the present caldera. This is an old picture. This picture depicts the caldera floor deep within the volcano. This has not been the case for at least 2 years. This has not been the case for at least 2 years. Lava has gone up inside the volcano about 100 to 150 feet below the crater rim. This is a 2.2 earthquake down inside the volcano. A 2.2 earthquake down inside the volcano. Okay? Way deep. This is another 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? Now let's leave Kilauea crater here. Way down here in the southeast rift zone. This is a 1.7 tremor here. There are a bunch of tremors. Now I'm not going to show you all the tremors, but I am going to try to show you all the minor earthquakes here. This is a 2.2 minor earthquake here. Going south here. This is a 1.6 tremor. Right next to it is a 1.7. Just south of there, another 1.5. We go further south here. This is a 2.2 earthquake. These earthquakes are in fern forest. Fern forest. Okay? The last time this area erupted was back in 2019. This is a 2.4 earthquake, also in fern forest. Magma is flowing out of Pahala up here into the East Rift Zone, through magma channels up here in the East Rift Zone. We've talked about these magma channels coming out here into fern forest and over into Leilani Estates. This earthquake I just highlighted here is a 1.8 tremor here. Again, this proves that magma has gone out in here into the East Rift Zone. Into the East Rift Zone. No, we're not having a lot of earthquakes as we had last week. On Friday, we showed you a huge earthquake sequence that was happening. Seismic activity has calmed down here on the Big Island since that happened. We had earthquakes out here in Leilani Estates, a couple weeks ago. Again, the magma from Pahala is making its way through the magma channels out here into fern forest and Leilani Estates. We don't know if another eruption is going to happen like what happened in 2019, but it's likely that we may have another eruption out here in Leilani Estates and fern forest. Okay? Now, I want to go out here. This earthquake is a 2.2. USGS has this as 28 kilometers southeast of Waimea, Hawaii. Guess where this earthquake is? Does anybody have a good idea where this earthquake is? Can you say Mauna Kea volcano? Mauna Kea volcano. This is over on the southwestern flank, the southwestern side of Mauna Kea volcano. That's what we're looking at, is Mauna Kea volcano right here. Okay? Hawaii is literally moving. And there's a lot more earthquakes than this. There's a lot more earthquakes here at Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa to the south, and even Hualalai over here to the west. USGS is hiding the information. They don't want anybody to know what's going on. It's very apparent what's happening here. Now, I've shown you earthquakes in Hawaii. I've shown you seismograms showing you earthquakes over in Washington State. I'm going to go over and show you in a minute seismograms from the volcanoes in Washington, Oregon, and in Northern California. I want to show you this earthquake here. Actually, two earthquakes I want to show you. This earthquake is a 4.2. 268 kilometers west-northwest of Port McNeill, British Columbia. Port McNeill, Canada. This is just south of Queen Charlotte Island. It's on the Cascadia subduction zone fault zone. It's right on top of the Cascadia subduction zone, just south of Queen Charlotte Island. A week ago we had a 6.6 earthquake here. We are going to have earthquakes here for a very long time. That 6.6 rattled this area. As the earth is trying to make up for itself and go to the position it was before the earthquake happened. We are going to see earthquakes here in this same area on the Cascadia subduction zone for quite a while. Quite a while. It's not going to stop. Now, just for kicks and giggles, since USGS is not going to show us real exact information, I'm going over here to the map to show you what they are telling us. Also Washington, a 1.3 tremor. Really? That's all they want to show us here? Further south. So call me Washington. So call me Washington. A 1.1 tremor here. Fascinating. They're not showing us any activity at Mount Rainier. Why not? I'm going to show you plenty of activity here at Mount Rainier. They are showing us activity here at Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are getting ready to erupt. They're not showing anything at Glacier Peak or Mount Rainier today. But they are showing this earthquake here at Mount St. Helens. They're saying this is a minus 0.2 tremor, microquake. Folks, this is 3.5 miles deep. Minus numbers are typically used to show above sea level quakes. This is not above sea level. This is 3.5 miles deep. 7.5 kilometers deep. They're also showing another quake over here on the northern rim of Mount St. Helens. Fascinating. They say this is a 0.0 surface quake. Fascinating again, because it is not at the surface. It's not at the surface at all. Again, this is 3.5 miles deep, 7.6 kilometers deep. It's not a surface quake at all. It's deep within the volcano. And again, USGS doesn't know what they're talking about. They're showing this explosion here. White Salmon, Washington. Sorry guys, I've got some drainage again. USBS is showing a 1.5 explosion at White Salmon, Washington. Fascinating it is. But again, it's not an explosion. I was researching this at 9 o'clock this morning. This was not an explosion. I went back after 1 p.m. this afternoon. This was not an explosion. Look at this. It's nowhere near a quarry. It's nowhere near anything that could explode. This is a 1.5 tremor out here in eastern Washington. 2.5 miles north-northwest of Salmon, Washington. This is a half-mile deep, though. A half-mile deep. Don Patoka says, M80 is being played with again by gophers. Who gave the gophers M80s? Who let the gophers out? Who? Who let the gophers out? Demon Catman says Gopher Marmot Construction Industries. Yeah, Gopher Marmot Construction Industries. Way to go, Dean. That was good. That was fascinating, in fact. Down here at Mount Hood. They're not showing any activity here at Mount Hood. There is. There is plenty of activity here at Mount Hood, and they're not showing it. Why not? Why not? They're not showing any other activity here in Oregon. Why not? There is activity. Now, before we get into the seismograms in Washington and Oregon, I want to come up here to Alaska. We've had numerous earthquakes up here in Alaska right now, right here, within the last 3 hours. My phone was getting its socks knocked off of because there were so many earthquakes right here. Unalakleet, Alaska. Unalakleet, Alaska. Unalakleet. Unalakleet, Alaska. A 4.0 moderate earthquake. But this was not the only earthquake here. There were 3 or 4 other earthquakes here as well. But USGS shows one. 3.8 kilometers deep. Basically 4 kilometers deep here. Okay? Northern Washington State. Yet we have all these other minor earthquakes and tremors all over here in southern Alaska. There is nothing above the Arctic Circle here. Nothing above the Arctic Circle here at all today. Good thing too. Good thing too. One earthquake down here north of New Zealand. The Kermadec Islands. The Kermadec Islands here. These islands are unoccupied islands. The only thing that's here on these Kermadec Islands are birds. It's a bird sanctuary. The only time scientists come out over here is to check on the birds during high tide. Okay? A 5.7 earthquake hit here early this morning. Just before 8 a.m. this morning Eastern Time. A very large 5.7 earthquake here. Going over into Papua New Guinea, a moderate earthquake hit here. I want now to go over here to Java, Indonesia. A large earthquake hit here earlier today. Banjar, Indonesia. This is a large 5.0 earthquake. Folks, this earthquake hit near populated areas. This earthquake hit near populated areas, for example, right here. people felt this earthquake all throughout this area. We have not gotten any reports of damage or injuries here, but I will bet you there are damage and injuries here. Indonesia here, even in Java, Indonesia, does not have the building codes like we have here in the United States. It's basically a third world country. Okay? I'm sure there's damage, and not just from homes and stuff, but infrastructure damage and possible injuries to people in this area here. Java, Indonesia. Now, these are not the only earthquakes here. USGS is not showing us anything here. They're literally not even showing us anything here. Even though they're showing us that one earthquake, there's about 20 earthquakes here in Indonesia. And they're showing us one. Fascinating at that. Going further north, over here at Taiwan. Good old Taiwan. Over here at the shoreline of Taiwan, we had a 4.1 moderate earthquake today. 22.5 kilometers deep. 4.1 earthquake. Another 4.6 happened off the coast here. USGS has this as 78 kilometers southwest of Yonaguni, Japan. Yonaguni, Japan. It's closer to Taiwan. Okay? Now, they're not showing any earthquakes at all here in Japan, and that's garbage. Over here in the Izu Islands, south of Japan here, this is another 4.6 earthquake here. Going over here just south of Hokkaido. South of Hokkaido over here in the Pacific Ocean. This is another 4.5 moderate earthquake, 54.3 kilometers deep. Still a very shallow earthquake, relatively shallow earthquake here. That's basically it here for the Pacific Basin. China had earthquakes today. Tajikistan had earthquakes here today right in this area, and they're not showing not one of them. Iran and Iraq had earthquakes, they're not showing anything here. Going over here into Turkey and Syria. Turkey and Syria had plenty of earthquakes here. All over here. Nothing said. Greece. Greece had 21 earthquakes here earlier today. They're not showing anything here. Again, Italy has had 30 plus earthquakes here. They're not showing anything here. Yesterday, Romania had earthquakes here, and yet they're not showing anything here. I'm sure Romania has had aftershocks since that earthquake that hit Romania was a large 5.1 earthquake. Yet they're not showing anything here in Romania at all. They're not showing anything here in northern Italy, nothing in Switzerland, Germany, or France. There are earthquakes. They're not showing anything here in Spain at all. Nothing. Not a thing. They're not showing any earthquakes in Scandinavia or Iceland. There are. They're showing earthquakes over here in Puerto Rico. I explained last night why we have earthquakes in southwestern Puerto Rico. We have 3 earthquakes lined up here. Okay? Folks, this is over here in the Caribbean Ocean. Okay? Actually, yes, it's in the Caribbean here. This is a 3.6 small earthquake. This is a 3.1. And this is a 2.5. Dropped off by this earthquake fault here, coming out of Guatemala. Fact. We also have an earthquake fault just south of the Dominican Republic here. It's also a 4.0 earthquake, 169 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. Southwestern Puerto Rico, these earthquakes are aftershocks of an 8.0 and an 8.5 earthquake that hit here in 2019. Two earthquakes, an 8.0 and 8.4 earthquake. Today, this 2.5 near Guanaca, Puerto Rico, and a 2.4 here. This is over near where my friend Dominic and his family live here in southwestern Puerto Rico. Over here off the northeast or southeast coast of Puerto Rico here, another 2.6 near Negro, Puerto Rico. Okay, that's that. I've taken you on a quick tour of the world. Let's go take a look at earthquakes and tremors over at the volcanoes. Okay, I showed you the tremor map earlier. Let's go take a look at earthquakes up at Mount Baker. Mount Baker is up over here along just south of the Canadian border. Just south of the Canadian border. Now I'm going to reduce the size of this seismogram so you can see what happened here. Look here. Look what we're showing you here. Two earthquakes at Mount Baker. Fascinating. This first one was yesterday evening after 9:30 p.m. yesterday evening. 9:35 p.m. yesterday evening we had a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Then again, after 5:15 a.m. this morning, we had another similar earthquake. But we had tremors before and after that. It was a much larger earthquake. USGS has said nothing about this earthquake. Nothing. And there's been no significant earthquakes outside the United States that would have even done this earthquake. So this happened at Mount Baker. Good old Mount Baker. Let me show you another one. This is Mount Baker. It is a volcano. You're seeing individual lines here. Each line represents 15 minutes worth of time. These lines are thicker, aren't they? This represents magma coming into the volcano. Magma pulse signals. You also see something else. This black line happened after 8 p.m. last night. You can see earthquakes here. You can see tremors here. Last night there was a 3.0 earthquake at Mount Baker. You can see that here. Okay? 8:04 p.m. we had a 3.0 earthquake here. It lasted only about a second or two. But a 3.0 earthquake nonetheless. And then you see a bunch of tremors here. A bunch of tremors. After 8 p.m., between 8 and 8:15 p.m., more tremors happened after 8:30 p.m. last night. 9:15 on the red line, more tremors. Folks, magma happens. Magma coming into the volcanic chamber causes earthquakes, fracturing a rock inside the volcano. Fascinating. Now, let's go over to the north side of Mount Baker. Schuchsen. Schuchsen is a ski resort. I pulled up the HHN channel at Schuchsen. This shows a magma incoming into the volcano here. The wavier the lines, the more magma coming into the volcano. You see these wavy lines? Look at what's happening here. They correspond to the earthquakes that we saw early last evening. Then this afternoon, more very wavy lines here this afternoon. But the seismogram does not show a lot of earthquake activity happening. They don't show much of any seismic activity happening as a result of this hot magma coming in, forcing its way under pressure, coming into this volcano this afternoon, causing earthquakes, earth movement. That's what we're seeing here this afternoon. After 12 noon over here on the left-hand side, all of a sudden it gets very busy here. Yet that's not what we're seeing on the seismogram. Let's bring up this seismogram again. Look at that. It doesn't show a lot of magma activity happening at all. No earthquakes. That's impossible. That means this seismograph was not set up properly, or the seismologist erased the information. The seismologist erased the information, or they set it up so it would record the data. Okay? I want to show you that. Cathode Payne says, how deep is that? That's inside the volcano. That's inside the volcano, guys. Okay? Now, let's take a look at Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak is about 45 miles southwest of Mount Baker. Look here. We're seeing a bunch of tremors, huh? None of these tremors are recorded on the tremor map, or they're not even showing up on the USGS map either. A lot of tremors here at Mount Baker. What is this blue signature here? What is this blue signature over here on the right side? Last night. Folks, this is a magma churn signal. A magma churn signal. When the magma is superheated, we get these magma churn signals. This magma churn signal is about 53% of real world. This magma churn signal is showing us that this seismogram here, the diagram here, it's showing us 53% of real world, which means all of these earthquakes happen. Maybe just under 50% of the real world exists here, meaning some of these earthquakes may have been slightly larger than what they're being shown as. This is the first time I've seen the magma churn signal showing this data to be at least 53% of real world. Off to the right side of this magma churn signal, we're having steam signatures. Those vertical lines off to the right of that magma churn signal are showing steam signatures. Glacier Peak is steaming. Glacier Peak is steaming. Okay? Let's jump down to Mount Rainier. I can't wait to show you this. A lot is going on at Mount Rainier. I want to go over Emerald Ridge. Emerald Ridge is over on the south side of Mount Rainier. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at all this activity last night. Earthquakes all over the place, caused by magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Rainier. On the black line here, after 8 p.m. last night. On the black line here, after 8 p.m. last night. This earthquake was a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. 8:08 p.m. a 2.8 earthquake. Minor earthquakes, but still a 2.8 earthquake. And yet USGS shows no activity at Mount Rainier. Look at all this activity. 2.0s, 2.5s, at least a couple 2.5s, and at least 2, maybe 3 2.0 earthquakes, and even a 3.0 earthquake at 8:08 last night. This shows an awful lot of magma coming into this magma chamber. Okay? But the United States Geological Survey is not showing any of this happening at all. Nothing. There is a lot of seismic activity here, tremors as well. But again, it's not being shown on the map at all. Let us jump down to Mount St. Helens. Actually, before we do that, I want to show you some more information about Mount Rainier. I want to show you Camp Sherman. Camp Sherman is on the southern side of Mount Rainier as well. Look at all this activity here. I'm going to reduce this in size a little bit. Look at this. Look at all these tremors here. Look at all these tremors. Up at the top here, we have another magma churn signal. Okay? It's a thick line here. It's a fairly thick line. It's a magma churn signal again. Okay? Off to the right-hand side, we see steam signatures. Steam signatures. Mount Rainier is steaming. Now, we don't know how strong this magma churn signal is, except let's scroll down here and look at it. Because where there's one, there's two of them. This magma churn signal down here, after 5 p.m. this afternoon, the magma churn signal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines high. Meaning about 23% of real world. This seismogram is showing us 23% of real world, meaning these earthquakes are twice or 3 times the size that they're showing on the seismogram. For example, over here at the top right here on your screen here, this is about a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Imagine if this earthquake was 2 to 3 times that size. All of a sudden we'd have a 3.0 earthquake. How about that earthquake signature almost directly above that magma churn signal? Guess what? That earthquake yesterday afternoon was a 3.0, 3.3 earthquake at Mount Rainier. Nobody's showing that, are they? Not at all. Not at all. Look at all these. Actually, that was this afternoon. Look at all these other earthquakes and tremors. Again, USGS is not showing any of this. They're not showing any activity at all at Mount Rainier. And yet I just got through showing you all the data at Camp Sherman on the southern side of Mount Rainier. They're not showing it. I could say the same thing is happening over on Camp Muir on the north side of Mount Rainier. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's happening. Now, they showed a couple of minor tremors over on the USGS map at Mount St. Helens. Fascinating. Let's go look at Studebaker Ridge over on the north side of Mount St. Helens. Studebaker Ridge, look at this. My gosh. There's a lot of activity here. A lot of tremors here. A lot of tremors here. Look at the activity here. Tons and tons of tremors here. A lot more than they're showing on the USGS map here. Okay? 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes happening here last night. Last night after 7:15. Okay? How about this afternoon? How about this afternoon after 12 noon today? 2.6, 2.7 minor earthquakes. 2 of them. A few 2.0 earthquakes here as well. And a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber here at this volcano with a bunch of tremors. A lot more tremors than they're showing on the tremor map or on the USGS map here on USGS map. They're not showing any of this. None of it. Why not? Inquiring minds want to know why not. Now, that's Emerald Ridge. Let's look at the Mount Rainier from Camp Sherman. Okay, I showed you Camp Muir earlier. This is Camp Sherman. Look at all these tremors at Camp Sherman. Look at that. No, I think I showed you Camp Sherman before. Let's show you Camp Muir. This is Camp Muir, guys. Look at this. Look at this. We have some earthquakes here that I want to show you. A lot of earthquakes. Earlier this morning even. Yes, last night after 2300 hours, which is 11 p.m. last night. We're seeing tremors and minor earthquakes here. All kinds of them. Literally all night long. After 7 a.m., look what happened. We're having earthquakes. The top and the bottom of these earthquakes have been cut off, meaning these earthquakes are larger than they're showing them to be. But there's one earthquake here I want to talk about specifically. This happened after 10:17 this morning. 10:17 this morning at Camp Muir, at Mount Rainier. And they're not showing this. Why are they not showing this? This earthquake lasted 45 seconds. And the top and the bottom have been cut off. This appears to be a 2.7 earthquake. But look at the secondary wave going out to the right. The secondary wave going out to the right lasts 2.5 minutes, which means this earthquake was at least a 3.5, 4.0 earthquake at Mount Rainier. And yet they're not showing any activity at all at Mount Rainier today. Nothing. Not a thing. Why are they not showing these earthquakes at Mount Rainier? They happened. The seismogram proves it. The seismogram proves it. Why are they not showing it? Mount St. Helens. East of Mount St. Helens, look at this. This is at the top. This is at the summit of Mount St. Helens. They're showing 2 tremors here. There is an awful lot more activity at Mount St. Helens than they're showing. Okay? Yes, these earthquakes are caused by magma entering Mount St. Helens here. You see these thicker lines here. The thicker lines indicate more magma coming into the magma chamber. And yes, you're seeing individual vertical lines here. Those are tremors. We're also seeing one earthquake here after 1:30 this morning. About 1:38 this morning, there was a 2.7 earthquake here. A 2.7, maybe a 2.8 earthquake here. They're not showing that either, are they? They're showing tremors here at Mount St. Helens. Well, guess what? That's not all, folks. There's more. Let me show you something else. On the north side of Mount St. Helens, there's a place called Studebaker Ridge. Studebaker Ridge is its own volcano just north of Mount St. Helens. Look at this activity here. Tremors and earthquakes last night before 5 p.m. Look at that top line here on the black line. They're not even hardly showing activity at all, are they? It's off the chart. It's off the chart. They're not showing it. Over here on the far right, 5:14 p.m. we had a 3.0 earthquake here at Studebaker Ridge. Look at the bottom here this afternoon. Look at the bottom of this seismogram this afternoon. Yes, we have some earthquakes. Yes, we have tremors here. Yes, we have a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber here. That's a lot. These thicker lines show a lot of magma here. Magma coming into the volcano here. Okay? Let me show you Sugar Bowl at Mount St. Helens. Look at this. They're not showing any of this activity, are they? They show two lousy tremors here at Mount St. Helens. There are dozens of tremors here at Mount St. Helens. And they don't talk about magma. There's no mention of magma on any of the books or any of the narratives about Mount St. Helens today. I checked. The USGS map says nothing about all of this activity here today at Mount St. Helens. Look at this afternoon. These thicker lines show activity. Over here on the far right hand side this evening. Okay? Let me raise this up here at the top here. Folks, this is 3:24 p.m. this afternoon. 3:24 p.m. this afternoon. This is a 2.9 earthquake. A 2.9 earthquake here at Mount St. Helens. And they're not talking about it. They're not talking about it. Why not? It happened. It happened. Let's go over to September lobe. September lobe is another seismograph sitting on top of the volcano. On the summit of the volcano. I want to show you this. This shows the activity at Mount St. Helens of the magma. Look here last night. Look at all these wavy lines last night. From 5 o'clock until just before 11 p.m. there was a lot of activity here. A lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. Then again at between 3 o'clock and 7:30 this morning. Seemingly not quite as much magma, but still a magma fest here. And then after 10 a.m. this morning, it happened again. Where are the earthquakes and the tremors here at Mount St. Helens? Where are the tremors and the earthquakes at Mount St. Helens here? Look at that. They're not showing on the USGS map. It's non-existent. But the seismogram here at Sugar Bowl says it happened. Unreal. Unreal. Now Heather's talking about her hand. Yes, her hand hurts. Her hand has been hurt for several weeks now. We've been praying for you, Heather. We've been praying for you. We hope you get feeling better soon. Says your surgeon doesn't want to do surgery, and I hope not. I hope not. Hope the swelling goes down and the pain goes away. I know it's painful. I've had pain in my hand before. It's not fun at all. But folks, this stuff is happening at Mount St. Helens. There's activity. I know it's late. It's 9 p.m. already. Yes, I came on the air late. I'm not going to show you all the seismograms I'm going to show you. Mount Hood is very busy. Mount Hood is very busy as well. Bachelor Volcano is busier than it's been before. Bachelor Volcano, just so I'll show you here. I'm going to show you Bachelor Volcano here. Look at this. Bachelor Volcano is going crazy. The top of this seismogram here started at 5 p.m. yesterday evening. Look at all this activity of magma in this volcano until after 5 a.m. last night. 12 hours of heavy-duty magma activity at Bachelor Volcano. And then it started again early this morning and kept going for another 5 hours this morning. That's a lot of activity. Crater Lake is very busy as well. Crater Lake is very busy as well. Mount Shasta is getting busy. Mount Lassen is very busy. Mount Lassen is also getting ready to erupt. Okay? Unreal. Guys, I love you. I care about you. God bless President Trump and his family. I saw a video of Melania last night. Melania put together a video, I guess it was Sunday, asking for prayers for her family. She was aghast that someone would try to attack her husband again. But she was again supportive of her husband. But he had her complete support and the support of her family. We appreciate that. May God bless President Trump. God bless his family. And heaven's sakes, Democrats, I do not want you ever to say, I don't want any of you Democrats ever to say again that President Trump should get shot. And yes, there are Democrat leaders that said that he deserves to get shot. There are Democrat leaders, Nancy Pelosi, that told Trump he had a target on his back. Nancy Pelosi. And it wasn't just a political target either. Wasserman Schultz. Debbie Wasserman Schultz also said that he needs to go away. He needs to die. You Democrats, you are the ones that deserve what you're dishing out. Stop it. Stop talking about President Trump. You say President Trump needs to dial down his rhetoric. It's not President Trump, it's all of you Democrat, communist. Stop it. Stop your BS. Stop your BS. Cafe Payan is here in the chat asking, has Lake Tahoe had any action? Only minor tremors at Lake Tahoe. Only minor tremors at Lake Tahoe. Okay? Folks, I ask the Lord to bless you now. I ask the Lord to continue to bless you. I love you. We have over 50 members of our EMA channel now. 50 members of our EMA channel. I want to leave you with one scripture here. This has to do with faith. I've gone over to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13. And now abideth faith, hope, and charity. These three, but the greatest of these is charity. God bless us that we might have faith, that we might have charity to help each other. God bless you all. Those of you that would like to contribute to our channel, Rob52 just put up our PayPal addresses here, so you can go over to our PayPal addresses and give us donations. Right now, over on our scroll in the bottom of the screen here, our mailing address, 104 North Green Street, Box 105. 104 North Green Street, Box 105, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. My wife and I checked our post box today, and we had no mail. We haven't gotten any mail from any of you in like 3 or 4 weeks now. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear how you're preparing. We'd love to hear how you guys are doing, and about your life, about yourselves. Carol and I love reading about you guys when you send us letters, when you send us donations inside the letters and cards. God bless you all. We love you very much. God be with you until we meet again. Arnold Smith is here in the chat saying a strange vortex was observed in Okanagan Lake this morning. A large circular turbine looking like a spiral galaxy. This just after the solar flares hit the Earth. It could have been something related to solar flares. It could have been. Guys, I appreciate and love you very much. Demon Catman, I got your email and I appreciate it very much as well. It proves, guys, it proves, and it was proven also on Fox News today, that yes, these Haitian immigrants are eating our animals, are eating our pets. They're kidnapping our cats and dogs and other animals, and they're barbecuing them at their homes. It's got to stop. God be with you until we meet again. We love each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. God bless you. May God be with you always. We see you on the other side. God bless. Bye-bye. I want to thank all of our mods here for being here today too. God bless you guys. We love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your service.